Hello friends, welcome to Technoviti 2021. We have another interesting session for you. This is a post-lunch session. So obviously this is a session that has to be extra interesting. And hence we have this topic of Fintech Next. Fintech itself has been a very interesting topic, no doubt about it. It has caught the imagination of anyone and everyone, whether it's a large bank or a small bank or even a non-bank. And nowadays, even governments all over the world are competing to attract fintechs and hoping to bring around huge changes and huge efficiencies in the financial system. It is very clear that the more developed a country is, the more its financial system works smoothly, works efficiently, and facilitates all kinds of transactions. And if fintech is going to be a force multiplier in that area, definitely it is going to make a huge difference. And hence, the deep interest in this topic. So we have today a fantastic panel of great minds, fresh minds, young minds, people with a lot of new ideas. And we have a moderator from Ernst& Young who is going to lead us through this panel discussion and try to get some real deep insights on building the tech foundation for Fintechs Next. So Sumit from Ernst& Young, may I welcome you to the panel and invite you to take over this panel discussion.
Many thanks, Manoj. Good afternoon, panelists and participants. My name is Sumit. I am a director with EY. I am a problem articulator, many times a solver, and a big picture thinker. I shall be moderating for the panel discussion today. A brief context is what I intend to give it to you. The financial services industry is undergoing a paradigm shift. Almost in all our conversation, we hear the race to digital has accelerated. Emerging technologies such as the artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, and blockchain, combined with ever evolving customer expectations and preferences, are redefining how financial institutions shall deliver services in the future. There is immense focus on agility and building for scale. We shall be listening to our panelists on their views on building the tech foundation for fintech. May I request the panelists to please introduce themselves, the firm they represent, and what are they passionate about? I'll start with you, Lindsay.
Sure, thanks, Sumit. Hello, everyone. I'm Lincy Therattil. I lead Rise Mumbai, which is a leading fintech hub in India, and also a Barclays Open Innovation Platform. Essentially, this is a platform that Barclays has launched to work with fintechs, leading fintechs across India and across globe, so that we can see how they are leveraging emerging technologies to solve business problems. So my job is very interesting because I get to work with several fintechs. Almost 50 fintechs are part of our ecosystem just in India, and there's obviously a lot of virtual companies that are part of our ecosystem as well. And globally, we are connected to 200 plus startups as a result. So interesting to speak to so many fintechs, learn from them, adopt some of the technologies that they have within the organization. I'm most passionate about making some of these partnerships happen. The partnerships with fintech, and also ensuring in the process that we provide a very strong ecosystem to help some of these fintechs and startups to be successful and to say scale not just in India but globally as well.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Lindsay. Parikshit?
Thanks, Sunil. Thanks for the invite to the entire team. My name is Parikshit. I am one of the co-founders and the CTO of a company called StashFin. We are in the digital lending space. We've been in business since about 2016. Our product is to provide loans through a card form factor to salaried individuals all across India. We've been doing this for about 4 years. Really excited to be part of this fintech space and actually observing all the developments within. Not just in the lending space, but in areas like payments, asset management, So I think it's a really exciting time for fintech in this country, and really happy to be a part of this space, building out teams and building this business. And glad to be a part of this panel. So looking forward to an engaging discussion with everyone.
Thank you, Parikshit. Vijay?
Yep, thanks, Sumit. Myself, Vijay Aggarwal, and I am CTO at BharatPe. We are a very young organization, started in 2018, but we're growing at a very fast pace. We are focused on solving the financial needs of the offline merchants, the small to medium sized shops, so to speak. And we are really excited from our customers. We've solved a lots of problems with them, most notably in the payment side and in the lending side. So those are the two big focus areas for us. But we do solve a lot of other problems and serve a lot of other financial needs for these merchants, and we intend to do more and more of that going forward. Really excited to be in the space overall, and delighted to be a part of this panel, and looking forward to some very engaging discussions.
Thank you, Vijay. Rajeev?
Hello, everyone. So I'm Rajeev, and at present I'm working with RapiPay Fintech as a Chief Technology Officer. I'm driving a lot of new payment ecosystem products. So building the entire products, categorizing, or I can say, which resembles from the all sectors of the payments. And definitely, as the fintech says, that using the digital technology to fasten the onboarding, the disbursals, decision making, and everything. Prior to this, I was with Wipro, where I was managing the entire global digital footprints of Wipro Digital. I was also associated with MSwipe for a short time as an CTO. So that's where I come with, and there's an exciting journey, I can say, in a fintech, wherein there's a lot of opportunity to do. So it's like that we get tired that, okay, I'm getting confused, what exactly needs to be done, what needs to be prioritized, because everything gets to be important. So now there's another set of product that I'm building into the digital lending that Parikshit also mentioned. So I've also, or my like board of directors, they have also decided to start a Rappi Money, which is into the digital lending, as the digital lending is the another piece of cake that everybody is trying to go for. So that's about me, I can say. I'll hand over to Sumit. Thanks, Sumit.
Thank you, Rajeev. And Anuj?
Right. Thanks, Sumit. Hi, everyone. I'm Anuj Bhansali. I head the trust and safety at PhonePe. PhonePe is one of India's largest payment app with close to 280 million customers and processing close to a billion plus transactions every month. I look after the trust and safety as well as the data platform aspects about it. What I'm really passionate about is using data for scale, for solving for a very large set of customers, using machine learning, using data platforms to keep customers safe from fraud and risk, as well as how do you make systems which can scale up at a much rapid rate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lincy, I'll have my first question for you, right? How, in your view, can financial institution embrace fintech to better understand either their customer or their processes and continue to evolve?
Sure, thanks, Sumit. And I think that this forms the genesis of why fintechs have become so important and prominent now. While we are talking all about digital transformation, we are seeing so many ways in which it is getting implemented by the traditional organizations as well as large corporates. But what really also comes along with digital transformation is the fact that it takes customers further away from the bank or a corporate. So when earlier we had the opportunity of the employees of the bank would have an opportunity to interact with the customers either at the branches or at the contact center when the customers would call. But now we are offering them the convenience and making the customers not necessarily visit the branch, but they can have these conversations via phone, or they can essentially do these conversations even now by conversational bots, right? So we are not even asking them to speak to contact center or visit the branches. So it's essentially taking customers further away from a branch. So when it comes to customer experience, now it is not the employees of the organization or the bank who can influence it, but it is the tools and interfaces that we now have that is going to be the primary decider on how organizations CX is going to be determined. I think this is where the fintechs play a really important role. Customer journeys and channel experience are becoming increasingly important because of this. And fintechs have brilliant solutions in this space. So there's one fintech that we're working with, for example, that leverages emotion AI to understand customers' reaction to different offers that are there on the website or on the apps, and which part of the content on the website is of more interest, and the rest of the content which doesn't really retain their interest. So this kind of helps us to fine tune our customer journeys, digital customer journeys. Then the next aspect is, we all talk about, especially with COVID, we are talking about contactless and presence-less payments. All this is important and made possible because I think fintechs have played a very important role in digitizing some of these retail payments, or even the retailers themselves. Like if you think of the kirana stores, they initially were completely operating in the offline mode because none of their catalogs were digitized. But a lot of these fintechs have played an important role in making this happen, where they are digitizing the catalogs, the stock list of these customers, and putting it up on grocery or retail online stores, or like the Swiggies and the Zomatos of the world, which makes a lot of a lot of convenience possible. And it's on top of that that a bank or a financial institution can make all these contactless and presence-less payment offerings to our customers. So essentially, fintechs play a great role in improving the customer journey, making things a lot more convenient for them, and most importantly, for us as a financial institution to know their customer better. We keep saying data is the new oil, but machine learning is actually the tool that is going to help to harness that the new oil that we're talking about. I think some of the panelists here have already talked about how they are leveraging machine learning for different aspects of financial services that they offer to their customers. I think that's really a great thing that some of the fintechs offer, helping us to know our customer better, providing next level of analytics, letting us know what our customers are likely to require next, what are the next financial requirement that they are likely to have, what kind of offerings we should be pitching to them proactively. All those kinds of things is made possible now because of some of these fintech partnerships that we are having. A very recent example of something that we've done is we have her relationship with Flux. Essentially, with COVID, nobody wants a physical receipt, right? So Flux essentially is enabling digital receipts. So whenever you shop at certain outlets, immediately the digital receipts for those transactions would go to the Barclays app. So making it available at a very convenient place for some of these for our users. So essentially, I think fintechs have played a great role in enabling some of these customer experience to be very seamless and a lot more contextual and customized, especially during this COVID situation, where physical relationship building is not really an option.
Basically, they are also improving inclusivity by enabling many different personas which banks have never addressed in the past.
I wouldn't necessarily say that we have not addressed it in the past, but definitely I think the pace at which we've been doing things is a lot more accelerated thanks to some of these fintech partnerships.
Thank you. Parikshit, may I know your opinion as well?
Thanks, Lil. So, I mean, great points made by Lincy. I'll actually echo a lot of those. The way we think about this is, this is a question of, when. It's not a question of if. This revolution where traditional financial services business have to embrace financial technology or evolve their own financial technology stacks is bound to happen. The way we look at it is that there's multiple areas in which technology adoption can transform any traditional financial services models. We have largely in our journey so far focused on basically two things. One is to make models and make credit available to a larger segment of customers, which the traditional financial services institutions may not service due to whatever constraints, around their model, geography, whatnot. That's part A. Part B is that we also need to make the journey of actually availing these services very seamless and convenient for our customers, right? So in summary, it's basically been a focus on risk management technology and operating technology. The way we have done this is that we've built our entire platform from the ground up with a fairly fresh perspective. And as we now grow, we're making a lot of investments into AI and machine learning models, especially around fraud detection technology. So based on what we are seeing, as the penetration of fintech grows in the market, fraud and especially ID theft is actually going to become a key area of concern for financial institutions. So, which again loops back into saying that traditional models have to start to embrace some of these new age technologies, where fintechs frankly are really leading the way here. And then the second part, where customers, as Lincy was mentioning, customers actually expect a certain level of technology enablement in every interaction in every part of their lives. So things like digital payments, things like being able to access your entire banking operations through your mobile app. These are now just par for the course. So traditional models kind of have to adapt to that. But frankly, ultimately, I think as an industry in this country, I think we're doing fairly well. Like if you look at global comparisons, India is actually leading the way in multiple areas. So Bill Gates, for example, recently mentioned that, especially in payments, if you want to look at a country to study, it should be India. So all of that said, I think financial services is subject to a lot of regulations and these forces that are at play, where customer demand will ultimately drive the need for adopting these technologies fairly quickly. So I think it's a question of time before all of this will become mainstay, and that will drive more innovation. So it's a very exciting space, and I mean I'm especially very impressed by the statements that Lincy is making, because at the end of the day, that's a bank talking, right? So if these guys are the ones that are talking about digital receipts and emotive AI, I mean that tells the story. I mean, we've come a long way, and it's an exciting space to be in.
Definitely, I agree with you. There has been a change, right, in terms of the relationship between banks and fintech. Earlier, the banks used to perceive fintechs as competitors. From competitors to collaborators, there has been a change. Vijay, what is, per your experience, has worked well at BharatPe? What has accelerated? What has de-accelerated? And how has been your experience during the year of pandemic?
Yeah, so very right, Sumit. In the early days of the rise of fintech, the perception was really one of us versus them, and the upstarts were thinking that they're going to disrupt the traditional banking at a very very quick pace, and the banks were wondering like what will these people do? They don't have enough experience in regulations. They don't have enough experience in banking and finance. What are these guys going to do? And it was kind of thought of as a battle of sorts, and it played out that way initially. But what has happened over time is that both sides have realized that there are strengths that each side has. For example, the traditional banks are very very strong in the domain experience, domain expertise. They're really the masters of risk management and other such things. They've also got great experience understanding and working with the regulatory landscape. Whereas the new age companies, the startups, their strengths lie in one, adopting new technology and evolving at a quick pace, and two, building a strong connect and a deep understanding of the customers and their behavior. So over time, what has happened is that both sides have realized that that we complement each other, and it is better to partner than to compete, right? And both sides are organically growing into each other's strengths as well. So the new companies are learning the banking chops, the finance chops, and the banks, as Lincy mentioned, are adopting the tech chops. And I feel that that's a great thing for the ecosystem overall. And it is not a zero sum game, definitely not like that. And both sides and more new players will come and they will evolve and they will grow. I think everyone has positive things to look forward to. And I think this spirit of collaboration will only increase. And while both sides will continue to learn what other sides are good at, but I think the overall collaboration is here to stay. And I think that is what will take things forward in the fintech space.
Right, the opportunities are significant. So even if we collaborate, still there are opportunities which we are not addressing. When we compete, right, we are at least reducing the overall sphere itself. So yes,
Absolutely.
Rajiv, what have you changed at RapiPay to react or to adapt or lead during the year of pandemic?
So, see, during the pandemic, I think the one thing that everybody or the entire audience has learned is the power of digitalization. The entire ecosystem was changing, but now during the last 1 year, it changed at a much faster pace. I would say that would be like 10x or even more than that. The way we used to interact, the way we used to pay, definitely we are coming from the fintech industry. So I would talk about the fintech and the payments. So the way we used to pay previously, the way we now used to pay with the adoption of the digital payments, with the new organizations or the companies coming into these systems. So definitely, for example, PhonePe, BharatPe, and then the introduction or the increase in the limit of the contactless payments using the NFC, which RBI took a big decision to move it from 2K to 5K. So this all showed that okay, how in the future we are going to shape it up. And per my experience in past and what I see as a future, that definitely the digital payment is the future. And this plastic cards or whatever the digital cards, so there is a new revolution or a new innovation that's coming into the picture, which would be beyond the cards and everything. And anyhow, when I was in my previous organization in Mastercard, I was working with Bank of Colombia, and I used to hear, I'm talking about like 5 years or 6 years back, in order to issue one plastic card and maintain it for 1 year, a bank cost is around $20. That can be multiplied to the number of customers that a bank has. So it's a big boon or a saving factor for any individual or a financial institution who issues the physical cards if they go digital. But at the same time, going digital also opens a lot of gates to the vulnerabilities, to the hackers, how our systems are foolproofs and everything. And recently, 2 days back, we all heard about the that Mumbai power station hacking by the Chinese. So those are the things I feel like that okay. We all should look from perspective. Data is definitely, there is abundant data available. How we are mining that data, how we are using that data for our purposes. So for fintech or every organization who is into a 360-degree payment systems, they offer pause. Like for me, here I work into the financial inclusion side also, where that is called as a cash in cash out. So my organization offer micro ATMs, they offer Aadhaar enabled payment systems to withdraw the cash or deposit the cash and all. So there is abundant data available already, but how that data is being harnessed or being utilized, mined, so that I get the correct picture. Everybody, like even in my previous organization, we used to hear that okay, there is a data available, but how to actually utilize that, and how exactly we are making our system foolproof, secure, that okay, there is no vulnerabilities. Definitely the regulations are coming into the picture. There are a lot of regulations. Fintechs were I would say barred or were not into that regulator boundaries, but new regulations are coming. So my friends would definitely know that there is a new RBI mandate that has come for the PAPG. So if in the market I need to operate any A to Z activity, then I need to get now the compliant and the license, or I would say that certification from the RBI, which was never the case. It was still not the case, but from June or July, this is getting implemented. So definitely RBI or the governments are now eyeing this product, now seeing that, okay, how the vulnerabilities can be squeezed so that there is no scope, that the customers are not getting paid, or we are not having any issues with that. Our systems are foolproof. But at the end of the day, I see that India as a market for any fintech, whether it starts today or starts like have started few years back, there is an abundant, like I can say, scope of business.
I
So
agree.
in market today, if we can count on our fingers that how many fintechs are actually operating at a good pace. So if we talk about PhonePe is different than, or their business model is different than BharatPe. Google Pay has a different model than PhonePe. Paytm has a different model than I would say PhonePe, or Google Pay is completely different. How the UPI is coming into the picture. RapiPay has a different model than all of this. So that's where innovation is the key. We need to see that, okay, how tomorrow or down the line after 3 year or 5 year, the customers are going to transact. And definitely with the digitalization coming into the picture, with the kind of population India has, there is a humongous opportunity for everyone.
Yeah, I agree with you. So what you tend to say is this business models are changing. If business models are changing, definitely the technology has to keep in pace with the business models. Perfectly agree, right? You also spoke about $20. I believe the $20 is also attributed to the cost of legacy infrastructure as well, which they are maintaining. I was working in a program where in India, the cost of an EMC-enabled card, right, is approximately 100 rupee, right? Couple it up with the legacy infrastructure, which is which is prevalent at banks, right? The cost goes manifolds, right? But the question which I wanted to come to is how are cloud service providers helping in this regards? How are they providing crucial services for fintech to scale up? My question again to you is, right, how are you blending emerging technologies with legacy systems? Because legacy is a big part of banks, right? And it has existed for ages. How is that you are creating a model which intertwines both of them, right? And then gives the proposition.
Sure, Sumit. So we are actually a very, very young organization. So we don't ourselves own and operate any legacy infrastructure. We are completely on cloud. That said, we do work with a lot of banks that have legacy infrastructure. So in terms of being a participant in the ecosystem, we do interact, we do interface with legacy infrastructure. So we are somewhere connected with that also. And in my view, I think what is very important to understand is that in our industry, in fintech, 80% of the times we are not building new technologies, so to speak. We are actually the early adopters of some of the recent innovations, and therefore the technology solutions are available out there. So it does not make a lot of sense for us to like for any single player in the fintech industry to build things on their own. That would be somewhere like reinventing the wheel. And that's where cloud provides a lot of value, because it provides a lot of innovative latest technology solutions out of the box, where the cost of R&D is amortized. The deployment is much quicker, and it can be scaled up and down as the business needs it. Therefore, it brings lots of speed and efficiency advantages to the organizations operating in a rapidly evolving landscape. So that's how I see cloud being especially important to the fintech space. And we on our part, I mean, we are already putting everything on cloud. We do not have any legacy infrastructure, and we work closely with our partner banks to help them also at times to move their workloads to cloud. And the way I see it is that over time, and it won't be a very long time actually, that a lot of fintech legacy infrastructure will move to cloud, because I mean, old technology is old, said and done. And uh, there may be a little bit of resistance to change, but like more and more we are seeing that that is becoming a thing of the past. Banks are also now very convinced about the need to move to cloud, and it is only a matter of time that happens. And cloud providers are also doing a lot of things on their part. They're also making it more and more easy. They're also willing to work more and more closely with the institutions to help them move to cloud. And there is also a lot of competition amongst different cloud providers. I mean, in terms of the financials also, like for the last 6 months or so, the space has really hottened up, and there are lots of great discounts that everyone is offering to gain more customers. So that is also something that I think will accelerate the overall transition to cloud.
It also gives you an opportunity to test your hypothesis early on, right? With a
Yes,
lesser
yes.
or no capex. So that's also a big advantage.
Absolutely. And then cloud providers are also helping. For example, we've ourselves benefited from that. We've worked with multiple cloud providers, and they've deployed their teams that have worked very closely with us in terms of helping us try out new ideas and see that they work on their infrastructure.
Right. Rajiv, your experiences at RapiPay that you would want to talk about?
See, why I'm smiling is, as we say, we are a fintech. We are not like experienced, or servers are our domain. We should focus on our core business. If we
Right.
start managing our own physical servers, then somehow that gets vanished, or just liquidated. And
Yes.
definitely the cloud service providers is an ease to do business, because then everything is there on cloud. It's just an email or a call away, whatever the issue that we have. I was recently just doing some rounds over the internet, searching or just going through one of the cloud service provider. They have eased their entire configuration so well. It's just like buying a piece of grocery or a shirt over Amazon. If the same thing I want to do it physically, I don't know, first the resource skills, the cost, the redundancy, and definitely all these are like the apex cost. If I want to install a physical server, after 3 years is redundant,
Seriously,
wherein
right.
the case is not with the cloud service provider. I was looking for an HSM solution for one of my product, which is
Mm.
called as an hardware security module. And then that is what I saw, that over the cloud it's just like $1 per unlimited TPS or something like that. And if I want to invest on my own, building my own physical HSM, it's like way higher cost. And then what, after 3 years is gone, because then the new technology comes. It is a hardware that gets redundant. You have to have the manpowers to handle that. So a lot of things. So I feel like personally that, okay, I should focus on my core business instead of going into managing the own physical servers and all. And I have seen in my past also, and I have seen in present scenario also, that is the one thing that is common among everyone, whether it's fintech, whether it's any other e-commerce, manufacturing, pharmaceutical, anyone. Everyone's now first choice is to go to the cloud, whether it's ABC, whatever. That is a different game, or
Mm.
that's changes from perception to perception, but everybody wants to move on cloud. And the other thing is also like, this cloud is not only which saves time, there's also that, okay, your go to market gets easier. If I
See,
want to build an application right now, I can simply buy some space on any ABC service provider, and I can go live immediately. But if I want to build my physical server, then I don't know, it will take months to just build the server first. So
sure.
that's the difference I can say between the cloud and the physical service provider. And even as discussed and Vijay said, there are a lot of banks who are already moving. So in US, I was working with Bank of America. They started shifting from their physical servers to the cloud. Then there was this Capital One. They have started in India. One of my colleagues is an ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank in India, they have started because previously there was a compliance issue from RBI that all these cloud providers needs to have their DC and DR in India. And apart from that, there were like also compliance issue that okay, RBI, if they want, they can audit their servers, which was not the case. But now all these cloud service providers, they know if they want to do business in India, they have to abide with those laws. So they have their DCDRs in India. They have their agreements in compliance with what RBI is asking. So I don't think that there is any issue from the compliance side also.
I take your word. It's important. My a very important question is about risk, right, and about regulations. With every innovation comes risk, and regulations change. They change often. They change possibly every day, right? Anuj, as the head of security and as the head of trust and safety, right? What are your recommendations for a risk management program that has worked for you and your clients?
Sure.
One second, Sumit, we'd like to conclude given the time development. So you can quickly come to a final concluding remarks or something, or your concluding remarks. There are other
Okay,
people waiting
so
you
sure,
to
right?
for this. Yeah.
Right. So
But we can have a
probably, right?
separate session later on with all of you on
Yes.
both of it. There's some very interesting topics we're coming up with. We'll share with you.
So what I'll do is I'll probably run past all of you, right, and would definitely ask you, what is your pragmatic advice to people who are there on the show and visit and viewing us, right? How do they need to build their tech foundation to prepare for next wave of fintech? We can go with you, Lindsay.
Very briefly, please.
Sure, I think we just had like a very long debate now on the cloud. But I think as a bank, I would say that fintechs need to be ready with a hybrid solution, on-prem and cloud. So that's definitely one thing they need to be thinking about, not just the cloud-based solution, but also the on-prem solution as well, because that's something that a lot of banks would be also comfortable with. So that's definitely one thing that they need to be thinking as they ramp up their expertise. And also the other big discussion was about legacy asset. It is there, it exists, it is real. So think about how your solution can be quickly implemented with the existing infrastructure. Have a very clear plan around that. I think these are the two crucial points that I would highlight.
Parikshit, to you.
Yeah, so I'll keep this brief. So I'll chime into exactly what Lindsay and what people earlier said, both Vijay and Rajiv. So our strategy has been built on cloud from day one. So I would suggest that's an approach that we take because a lot of these compliance issues that people deal with, the cloud players have actually already resolved those. Number one. Secondly, I would say in the interest of time, as the industry evolves, I think there is a very strong need for greater collaboration in the industry itself. Right, there is a lot of regulations, things like privacy, data security. What kind of regulations can apply. I think the industry is growing rapidly, but we are in desperate need of a body that can actually be our voice to kind of talk to some of these issues with the regulators and the large institutions as well. So those will be my two inputs.
Thank you. We'll take Anuj to you as well.
Sure. So, see, I frankly believe that it is about using data intelligently. The next frontier will be about data empowered decisions, and that is how both fintechs and banks will have to figure out how do you use this, cross sell, upsell. There's a lot of input that will come from machine learning over.
Sure. As a parting thought, right, I would possibly leave you with some questions, right? The question is your design scalable? Is it reliable? Is it modular? Does it help you expand operation elastically? Does it allows you to develop new business model, collaborate with the ecosystem and niche new segments? These are the discussions. These are the important points, facets that you must be looking out for. I acknowledge my panelists, and I express my gratitude for their participation. And I believe their experiences shall help the fintech community and participants.
Yes, thank you, Smith. Thank you all participants, Parikshit, Anuj, Vijay, Rajiv, and Lincy. Interesting discussion. Wish it could go on longer, but time doesn't wait for everyone. We have
We
to do
will
what we
manage.
have to do in the time we have.
Sure.
Big great discussion. But Banking Frontiers is obviously going to do more and more of these topics from different perspectives as well. And we look forward to having all of you again in different sessions down the road. Thank you all very, very much. Have a great day ahead. We also have Technoviti 2021 tomorrow.
Many
And I
thanks.
invite all of you to join. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. This was really great.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.